Of all the questions I get asked as a Brotherhood scribe, the inquiry, why are bottle caps standard currency, is by far the most common. It is remarkable to me that our standard form of currency is less understood than how a Salisbury steak can stay edible for 200 plus years, but I digress. The answer to the question is actually quite simple, but before we get to that, we must explain the how. So sit down, crack open a flat, lukewarm Nuka-Cola, and hold on to that bottle cap because, ladies and gentlemen, once again, it is time for a history lesson. To trace the origins of our currency, we must first go back to right after the Great War, and the founding of the hub. According to NCR records, this now thriving trade center was founded just 2 decades after the Great War, by a man who set up shop in a town that was untouched by the bombs and began trading with other surrounding communities that also survived the apocalypse. Slowly, people began to trickle in, and pretty soon the hub became a boomtown. However, when the hub started to become a major trading center on the West Coast, the influx of people wanting to purchase goods and services meant that merchants were in dire need of a standard currency. The answer to their problem was the humble bottle cap. The merchants of the hub quickly settled on these unassuming bits of metal as standard currency, as they were plentiful enough to be traded in large amounts, but not enough to flood the market and thus make them useless. Additionally, almost all of the cap presses used to make them resided in Nuka-Cola and Sunset Sarsaparilla plants inside major cities that had been, for the most part, destroyed by the bombs. This meant that counterfeit caps would never become much of an issue, preserving their value and eliminating any chance of inflation. The quality assurance on the currency was the unique 21 crimson ridges that pre-war bottle caps sported, and thus even if somebody did create a bottle cap counterfeit machine, it would be very difficult to recreate those details exactly. With the rise of the NCR a century later, the water-backed hub script, as the bottle cap currency was commonly referred to, was temporarily replaced by the gold-backed NCR dollar. This persisted into the war between the Brotherhood of Steel and the NCR when our elders decided to destroy the NCR gold reserves, crippling their economy and sending the value of the dollar to one much lower than that of bottle caps. Thanks to this, bottle caps once again became the currency of choice, although NCR dollars are typically still taken as legal tender at most vendors. Now, the actual value of the bottle cap varies throughout the US. Thanks to the much higher population in the West Coast, as well as the popularity of Sunset Sarsaparilla giving Nuka-Cola a run for their money and thus putting more in circulation, the value of the bottle cap is somewhat lower there than it is in the East. But with the availability of the NCR dollar and, in some locations, the Legion Denarius, the economy is fairly balanced across the wastes. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. From Shady Sands to Point Lookout, humble bottle cap is the little bit of metal that makes this irradiated world go round. Well, that and bullets, which sometimes work just as well when used to barter.